Hiya, one for the parents this time, just a little bit of a guidance video before we have a go at some flippy flapper zooms. Hopefully you can have a go at some flippy flapper dances yourselves at home as well, and maybe some flippy flapper YouTube videos. We'll see how we get on with that one. Just wanted to tell you what it's about, why we're doing it, how you can do it. It's dead easy and loads of fun. So the idea behind it is the pre-writing skills that children need before they can actually form letters effectively, before we're going to expect that of them. So their gross motor muscles, their gross motor skills need to be developed enough before they can form letters effectively in a way that's not going to hurt them, or just have that control over a pen that they need. So the gross motor muscles need to develop effectively before we can get them to do that. So when I'm saying flippy flapper, what I'm referring to is basically a piece of fabric. In school we have purpose-made flippy flappers. Fabulous Mrs. Wales has made us some purpose-made flippy flappers. We don't have them at home. Basically all they are is a piece of light fabric. So we've got chiffon squares in school, but also some squares of fabric that are just really light and not too heavy. So if you've got any fabric lying around, perfect. If there's anything you can chop up just into a little square, scarves, anything you can find really. So I've just got tea towels. Like, tea towels will work absolutely fine. They're just about the right size, a little bit heavier than what we'd want ideally, but for the sake of home learning they'll be absolutely fine. So you need 2 flippy flappers for a flippy flapper dance, and basically it's all about getting gross motor movements of the shapes needed that are really going to help when they start forming letters. So flippy flapper dances, basically all we do is we stick on some music, and I'll put together a list of some really good songs, but any song goes really, anything that makes you want to move and dance. You've probably got some of your own ideas of songs you like listening to anyway at home. I will put together a list of good ones that we've used before as well. So you stick on some music, and you're going to be getting the children to form various shapes in the air with their flippy flappers through dancing and through moving. We want the movements to be big, the shapes to be big. So in your pack, if you've had a chance to get to school and collect your pack, in there you've got a piece of paper like this where I've just squiggled some shapes on. These are the flippy flapper shapes. So we have done lots of these in school, the straight lines up and down, side to side, side to side, and crossing over as well. We've done spirals, we've done circles, we've done the mountains, we've done the zigzag, and then we're moving on to the more tricky ones. Loop the loop's really hard, and I'm finding it really hard to explain to them as well what I'm trying to get them to do in the air. So it's really helpful if they can see that shape when you're trying to get them to do it, so they can visualize what they're actually trying to do. And I haven't actually got round to doing this one yet with them. It's one of the more developed moves, as you can see. It's quite a tricky one to do, but there's no reason you can't give that a go at home. What we did at the start of Flippy Flappers was just focus on one move. So we'd do one dance completely just on straight lines. As we've gone through them, we tend to just chuck in all the moves, unless I'm teaching a new one like the loop. Sometimes we'll have a whole dance just on the loop. So mix it up, just find a way that works for you. It's great fun if you just get involved, if you're the leader, or let your child be the leader because they've done it before in school. So you hold your flippy flapper in the corner with your hands like this, and you're making those gross motor movements. Excuse me, whack myself on the head. You're making those gross motor movements with your flippy flappers as big as possible. Also encouraging them to use both hands. They will have a dominant hand, but encouraging them to use both hands, but also for their hands to cross over at points as well. I've just realised I've missed a shape off the list that I squiggled together, and that's arches. And arches is a great one for crossover. There's lots of science behind when you cross over the parts of the brain that have to work differently, and it's really good for children to have that practice. So getting them to cross over, doing your circles but crossing your arms over so they're meeting in the middle. So basically it's really easy. Stick on a good song, a song that gets you moving, stick it on really loud, get 2 flippy flappers in your hands and make those shapes in the air. It's as simple as that. What you can then do to progress after a flippy flapper dance is start to do making those shapes through mark making. Now, when I say mark making, I don't necessarily mean a crayon and paper, pen and paper. That's great. If you're going to do that, can you make it as large scale as possible? So getting a big sheet of paper on the floor and sticking the music back on, maybe the song you've just done, and getting them to make those shapes on the paper with 2 hands. So if you've been doing the circles, you'll get them on the paper, doing the circles again on the paper. With the circles, what we do as well is we start small and getting to do bigger circles as well as spirals. So basically it's just having loads of fun and getting them to make those shapes. Oh, that's what I was going to say, wasn't it? Not necessarily just pen on paper, anything you can find to make marks in. So it's tricky, isn't it, at home? I don't know what you've got available, but thinking about even the ice at the moment, if you can make marks in the ice, can you sieve some flour onto a worktop or a tray if you want to contain it a bit more, stick the music on again, make those shapes that you've been doing in your flippy flapper dance into the flour. Anything really that you can make marks in is brilliant. So this all leads to letter formation. When we've got these shapes in place, these shapes will really help with their letter formation, and that's where we'll progress to next, is actually teaching them how to properly form letters. At the moment in their writing, we talk a little bit about how to form their letters, but we're not expecting them to have the exact formation, just because we know they need this practice first of growing those muscles and that coordination and control. I hope that makes sense. We'll think about doing a YouTube flippy flapper dance, but not sure how it works. We have got planned a flippy flapper Zoom next week. I can't remember what day I said. I think it's Thursday when I'm in school, where we're going to attempt to do a flippy flapper dance in school with the children in school and Zoom to the children at home to join in. We'll see how that works, but it's not something you really need me for, to be honest. When you get into it, just have fun, just get them moving. So you've got this sheet at home with the shapes. Like I said, I apologise, I've just realised that I have missed off arches, but that's all it is, an arch like a rainbow. And then getting them to do the crossover arch as well, which actually they were getting really good at. They found it hard at first, but they're getting really good at. So the crossover arch is doing an arch with both hands that crosses over in the middle, if that makes sense. But obviously you wouldn't be doing it with your fingers, you'd be doing it with your whole arms and your flipper flappers. So I hope that makes sense and you understand that a little bit more. Let me know if you have any more questions, but just give it a go. All right, see you later.